Okay, so this is a little tricky because the lattice is very distracting to actually look. So I would have hidden that before I play blasted. I'm not sure why you didn't use the provided rig for this assignment. I see you turned in another file that was labeled cartoony bounce Maya file, but it wasn't cartoony bounce. It didn't have the squash and stretch or anything. And the problem with this lattice, and it's going to be easier to show you in the Maya file, is that one thing the rig does for you is it maintains volume. And by maintaining volume, I mean, if you imagine a water balloon or really any ball, but like imagine a water balloon, if you switched it flat, it's going to get a proportional amount, wider. And if you stretch it long, it's going to get a proportional amount thinner. But not so with this. Look at just the mass of that ball, and then look at this. It really just looks like it's gotten narrower without getting longer. And in fact, I should be able to see in the scale. So the scale, um, so the scale y is decreasing and the scale x is increasing a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. The scale, sorry, let me do that again. The scale x, no. So y and z are remaining the same, while x is decreasing, if we look at that. So it was, scale x was 2, and now it's down to 1. The thing is that the y would have to increase proportionally. So, you'd want to do something more like that. And when it's flat, same thing. This has to be, well, really, these, have to proportionally increase the amount it flattens to maintain the volume. And that's something that the rig did for you, but you're trying to do manually here. So I don't understand why you didn't use the rig. The rig is provided. There's clear instructions for it. You obviously have the file. But this is the problem you're running into, is you try to do something manually. And if you had done it right, that would have been impressive, because you'd either have to use math for it or you'd have to really eyeball it very carefully to make sure that it was maintaining volume. But you did not do that. It just looks like it's shrinking and growing all the time. And it should look like the same sized ball, but just that it's been squashed or stretched. So yeah, and then of course you're unable to do the rotation thing because you don't have that as a separate control. So I mean, there's a reason that I provided the rig, and there's a reason that I demonstrated with the rig. So you were meant to use the rig that was provided. Let's take a look at your realistic bounce. Um, yeah, the bounce looks really soft, that first bounce, and it just looks like it very abruptly starts rolling. I would kind of think there'd be at least few more little bounces in there. Let's take a look at the file if we can find it. Um, yeah, once again, you're not using the rig. I don't understand why. It's not rotating. It's bouncing once, and yeah, this is wrong. So if you look at, it should, it's just basic physics. It's not like any particular ball, but it will speed up as it goes down, and then be at its fastest point as it starts to go up again. So the curve should look, if you look at the y translate curve, and this is just weird because now it's like going underground or something. Um, so those should be at their steepest points just before and just after the hit. And this doesn't make any sense to me. I would probably have at least one more little bounce here. Um, but probably much faster. Okay, let's look at it now. Can you see the difference? It feels like it's got some weight and it's hitting kind of harder. And it's got another little bounce on there. and you want it to rotate. If it's sliding along, it's going to be rolling, which means it's going to be rotating, and we can either see the rotation because there's no detail. I mean, certainly I can turn on wireframe on shading, but I know that it's not rotating, uh, and it just looks weird because it's just sliding. It should be rolling. And that's why you use the rig. You have a separate rotate control that you can do the rotation on. So I really think that these, you should be using the provided rig. What can I say? And the provided instructions. I don't know why you went off and did this, and the disadvantages are obvious.